भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नमस्कृतायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीर्थं श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। So now today we'll do Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 6, Conversation between Narad and Vyasadev. So we'll start this chapter today. Text 1. Sutuvacha evam neshamya bhagavan devarshev jankarcha Bhuya paprachitam brahman vyasa satvati sutaha. Suta said, O Brahmins, thus hearing all about Sri Narad's birth and activities, Vyasadev, the incarnation of God and son of Satyavati, inquired as follows. So Narada Muni gave him a hint of his previous life. Now Vyasadeva is more curious to know more about Narada Muni's life. Vyasadeva was further inquisitive to know about the perfection of Naradaji, and therefore he wanted to know about him more and more. In this chapter, Naradaji will describe how he was able to have a brief audience with the Lord while he was absorbed in the transcendental thought of separation from the Lord, and when it was very painful for him. So this we'll see towards the end of this chapter, how it happened. Text 2. Vyasuvacha Bhikshubhir Vipravasite Vijnanadeshtriyabhistava Vartamana Vyasyadye Tataha Kim Akarod Bhavan. Shri Vyasadeva said, what did you, Narad, do after the departure of the great sages who had instructed you in scientific transcendental knowledge before the beginning of your present birth? So Vyasadeva is wanted to know more that after these sadhus, after these bhaktivedantas, they left the house of Narada Muni, what did he do? Vyasadeva himself was a disciple of Naradji, and therefore it was natural to be anxious to hear about what Narad did after initiation from the spiritual masters. So it was kind of initiation, it wasn't like formal initiation with yagya and everything, but initiation is when the spiritual master accepts a person as his disciple and he gives him some instructions. So the initiation actually happens then. He wanted to follow in Narad's footsteps in order to attain to the same perfect stage of life. This desire to inquire from the spiritual master is an essential factor to the progressive path. This process is technically known as Sadharma Pricha. So he also wanted to follow in Narad's footsteps because Narada Muni followed the instructions of his spiritual master, so Vyasadeva wanted to follow his instructions also. Swayambhuva kaya vritya vartitam te param vayah katham chedam uddasrakshi kale prapte kalevaram. O son of Brahma, how did you pass your life after initiation, and how did you attain this body having quit your old one in due course? So Narada Muni in his previous life was just an ordinary maid servant son. So how he became so perfectly transformed into the spiritual body of eternal life, bliss and knowledge is certainly important. So Narada Muni in this life or in this body in the current birth is son of Brahma. But previous life he was a son of ordinary maid servant. So now Vyasadeva is curious to find out the transformation, how it happened. So this means bhakti or making progress in spiritual life is not just the birthright of people who are born in higher order of life. Narada Muni was just son of an ordinary maid servant, that's all. But still, he made advancement like anything. And next life he became son of Brahma. Prakalpa vishyametam smritim te muni sattama nahi esha vyavadhata kalesh sarunirakritihi. O great sage, time annihilates everything in due course. So how is it that this subject matter, which happened prior to this day of Brahma, is still fresh in your memory, undisturbed by time? So this subject matter, which happened prior to this day of Brahma, can you believe? Narada Muni in this day of Brahma is Narada Muni, but in the previous day of Brahma, he was the son of this maid servant, and he still remembers. And the day of Brahma, like one day of Brahma in 12 hours, he has 14 manus, and every manu rules for 71 Chaturyugas. So one day of Brahma, 12 hours of Brahma is 1000 Chaturyugas. And so long is his night. And then when in the morning, when he comes back again, he does the creation to whatever part is annihilated. And again, the whole activities start. Because at the night of Brahma, there are no activities. But this is what Vyasadev is curious to find out. How come Narada Muni remembered what happened so many millions and millions of years ago? As spirit is not annihilated even after the annihilation of the material body, so also spiritual consciousness is not annihilated. Sri Narada developed this spiritual consciousness even when he had his material body in the previous kalpa. So kalpa means a day of Brahma. Consciousness of the material body means spiritual consciousness expressed through the medium of a material body. This consciousness is inferior, destructible, and perverted. But super consciousness of the super mind or the supra mind in the spiritual plane is as good as the spirit soul and is never annihilated. So this is the answer Prabhupada is giving. How come he remembered? Because he was already in spiritual consciousness. In material body, we forget things. Why? Because material body keeps on changing. Even in this life, our body has changed. And in fact, it is changing at every day. That's why we forget things. But Krishna or the spiritual people, they don't change their body. And that's why they remember the things. Krishna says, I had given this knowledge to Sun God in the beginning of time. And now I'm giving this knowledge to you, to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. But he still remembered everything. And Krishna says, I know everybody's past, present, future. I know. Why he doesn't know? Of course, he is Supreme Lord himself. But the real logic that Prabhupada gave over there was because he has spiritual body and it doesn't change the spiritual body. Because we change the material bodies, we forget things. We even forget what did we do last week on Monday. Of course, we were all listening to Bhagavatam at this time last week on Monday also. But what passage we were listening, what was the topic of discussion, I'm pretty sure we have forgotten. So, and this is the beauty of spiritual body. We won't forget anything. We don't forget. Because spiritual body, it's always the same. Narada Vacha, Dekshobhir Vipravasite, Vijnana Deshtribhir Mama, Vartamana Vyasyadye Tat Etadakarsham. Sri Narada said, the great sages who had imparted scientific knowledge of transcendence to me departed for other places, and I had to pass my life in this way. So they had left, and Narada Muni said, I had to pass my life in this way. Means no more association with his guru. In his previous life, when Naraji was impregnated with spiritual knowledge by the grace of the great sages, there was a tangible change in his life. Although he was only a boy of 5 years, he was only 5 years old, but still there was a tangible change, and he had accepted those instructions fully and completely. That is an important symptom visible after initiation by the bona fide spiritual master. Actual association of devotees bring about a quick change in life for spiritual realization. How it so acted upon the previous life of Sri Narada Muni is described by and by in this chapter. So, after the initiation, by the bona fide spiritual master, there should be a tangible change positively in our spiritual life. We should take it up seriously. There should be. And so far, every devotee I've spoken to after the initiation and before initiation, they said there's a huge difference in their life. But we have to maintain that momentum. In fact, increase it, it's better, but at least we should maintain that momentum in a spiritual life. And Prabhupada writing, actual association of devotees bring about a quick change in life for spiritual realization. So this is the effect of association of devotees. We were discussing some association devotees, how we should take association. So it should bring a quick change in life for spiritual realization. That is a real effect of association of bona fide devotees. Ekatmaja me janani yoshin muda chakim kari mayatmaje ananya gato chakre sneha anubandhanam. I was the only son of my mother, who was not only a simple woman, but a maid servant as well. Since I was her only offspring, she had no other alternative for protection. She bound me with a tie of affection. Obviously, every mothers do that. Yesterday, we all celebrated Mother's Day, so we all should thank our mothers for this uh, tie of affection that and the protection that she gives. But Krishna had another other plans for Narada Muni, so he didn't like this tie of affection of his mother. He had some other plans. Sasvatantra na kalpasi yogakshemam mamechati ishasi vashe loko yosha darumayata. She wanted to look after my maintenance properly, but because she was not independent, she was not able to do anything for me. The world is under the full control of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, everyone is like a wooden doll in the hands of a puppet master. Very important for us to understand. The world is under the full control of the Supreme Lord. He is the Parameshwara. Ishvara Parama Krishna is a Parameshwara. Means he controls each and every aspect of the lives of each and every living entity in each and every material universe. That is Krishna. That's why one of his name is Jagannath. He's the Lord of the universe. Lord means he's not there just to sit back, relax, enjoy. No, he's there to control everything. And he's there to help everybody also. According to the level of surrender, he's there to help. But nothing is out of his control. Nothing. These are all the energies, whatever we see, they are his energies, and energy is meant to be serving the energetic. The Maya energy, although it's Maya, material energy, but she knows her position, and she is always there to serve Krishna. Only we, the little bitty, itsy bitsy, tatastha shakti, marginal energy, we make, we commit all these problems. We commit all these crimes. We think we are independent of Krishna. Material energy knows she is under Krishna. Spiritual energy is definitely under Krishna. She knows. But this Tatastha Shakti, that's we, the conditioned living entities. And who are so itsy bitsy, so tiny. 10,000 part of the tip of the hair. That's us. And we think we can control everything. We do control everything. That's the biggest illusion of us. Nothing is in our control. Nothing. All we can do is desire a little. And even for the fulfillment of the desire, Krishna has to make the arrangement through his energies. That's all we can do. Like if somebody thought he's in big control yesterday evening, all the thunderstorm and dust storm which came, we would have easily understood how big controllers we are. Nothing we control. We think we can control the outcome of the results of Karnataka elections. We can control the results of IPL games that are going on. We can control who's going to win next prime minister election in India, or we can control who's going to win the presidential election in America or Russia. Or nothing is in our control. Then people ask, so how come things go haywire in the material world if everything is controlled by Krishna? The problem is Krishna does not interfere with our desires, with the independent free will that he has given us. He does not interfere with that. Because otherwise we will be just like robots. Everything is going on there like robots. No, he wants to give us independence. So we can express our feelings towards him. We can develop love for Krishna by our independence. Love is not forced. Love is done by free will. And when that love is developed by us, that is what he loves the most. So far we have love for material energy. He doesn't like it, but he lets us play around. Okay, you just do whatever you can do. And even for playing around, he has to give us the permission. To move our hands, he has to give us permission. Sanction has to be there. And then we can move our hand. To the extent that he allows us to move our hand. It's funny. That's why it said, no? Everyone is like a wooden doll in the hands of a puppet master. And we think we are somebody very big, very important. Nothing. We are nothing. Nobody. Of course, we are not zero. And we're not going to merge in Krishna. We're not going to become Krishna. Our only perfection is we become a servant of Krishna. We become a devotee of Krishna. That's a perfection. That's a real thing. But that too, he still allows us to do our mischiefs all the time. He still allows. But this is what he's looking for us to surrender to him. And look at what he did with Narada Muni. Once he understood Narada Muni is getting serious in his previous life, because now he got initiation by these sadhus, by these devotees, and whatever obstacles would be there in Narada Muni's path to make progress, now it's Krishna's duty to remove those obstacles. But still, Narada Muni will also go through lots of testing that we'll read in this chapter. Aham chatat brahmakule vashivans tadupekshaya digdesh kala vyutpanno balaka panchahayana. When I was a mere child of 5 years, I lived in a Brahmin school. I was dependent on my mother's affection and I had no experience of different lands. He was only 5-year-old boy. Just like Vanda Mataji told, Cherry is 5 years old, girl, little girl. What she can do without a mother's affection? Nothing. But this was the position of Narada Muni. Same thing through Maharaj. He was 5-year-old boy. Prahlad Maharaj, 5-year-old boy. I think somehow Krishna likes his 5-year-old kids. So he wants to really give them good training from 5-year-old. When they're only 5-year-old. Ekda nirgatam geha duhantim nishigam pati sarpo adashat padas krishta kripanam kalachodikaha. Once upon a time, my poor mother, when going out one night to milk a cow, was bitten on the leg by a serpent, influenced by supreme kami. So there's no mention of Narada Muni's father in this case. So maybe father had died or he had left or whatever. So he was alone with his mother in the house. That is a way of dragging a sincere soul nearer to God. Dragging means those who don't want to come, Krishna has to drag them. The poor boy was being looked after only by his affectionate mother, and yet the mother was taken from the world by the supreme will in order to put him completely at the mercy of the Lord. this is the supreme will of the Lord. He wants his disciples, his servants, his devotees to come and take complete shelter of him only, of nobody else. So that's why he creates all these scenarios, the desperate situations in the life of his devotees. So we should not misunderstand the desperate situations coming in the life of his devotees to be something of bad karma. It could be bad karma, depends how sincere the devotee is, but it could be something orchestrated by Krishna himself. Tadaham ishasya bhaktanam shamabhipsatah anugriham manyamanah pratishtham deshamuttaram. I took this as a special mercy of the Lord, who always desires benediction for his devotees, and so thinking, I started for the north. So Narada Muni, although he was only 5 years old, but because he had this association of the sadhus, and he had taken the remnants, he had taken the blessings, he took this as a special mercy of the Lord, that his mother, his only protection, his only maintainer in the material world that we can think of, she was also dead. That's it. Nobody to look after him. And he didn't start crying, oh, my mother is gone, somebody should help me. He knew Krishna will take it. Confidential devotees of the Lord see in every step a benedictory direction of the Lord. What is considered to be an odd or difficult movement in the mundane sense is accepted as special mercy of the Lord. Mundane prosperity is a kind of material fever, and by the grace of the Lord, the temperature of this material fever is gradually diminished, and spiritual health is obtained step by step. Mundane people misunderstand. So, propagating mundane prosperity is like a material fever, and more the fever goes up, means more prosperous we become. More fever goes up means more sick we are. So less healthy we are. And when the fever goes down, the spiritual health is obtained step by step. But obviously, this doesn't mean we all have to take up this vow of poverty and then we are spiritually healthy. No. One can be materially prosperous, but if he is not attached and if he is using that money in the service of Krishna, there's nothing like it. The attachment is the one that brings our fever up, not the mundane prosperity. Not if somebody has lots of property or assets. No. The attachment. And if he's not using it in the service of Krishna, we have to understand everything comes from Krishna. Everything belongs to Krishna. Everything is supposed to be utilized in the service of Krishna. But in this case, Krishna had to do special favor on Narada Muni, and he removed all the obstacles. He removed all the ties of affection. He removed everything that Narada Muni, as a 5-year-old boy, he was relying upon for his subsistence, for his maintenance. And of course, Krishna does take care of everybody, and especially his devotees. Krishna takes care of people who don't believe in him. Krishna takes care of, maintains people who speak against him. He's saying, Krishna, Supreme Lord has no figure, no form, no hand, no mouth, nothing. They don't believe in his form. He takes care of, he maintains people who are atheists, who don't even believe in God. He takes care of people who have doubts about God. So why won't he take care of people who have left everything for his service, who are his devotees, who are trying to make progress in the path of spiritual life? Why in the world he won't take care of them? He takes care of animals, plants, birds, insects, little bitty insects you see in our houses. They're all taken care of by Krishna. They all are being provided food. Why won't he take care of his own devotees? He does. But for devotees, he has special way of taking care so that devotees surrender fully. They have come under his complete shelter. That's all he wants. So we'll stop here. See anybody with any questions or comments. Like yesterday, we were at Barsana, and everybody, thanks to everybody pitched in to help with the wedding of those girls. But ultimately, those girls are who are those girls? They are born in Barsana, the land of Srimati Radharani. In fact, they're born in Chiksoli Gram. At least, actually, that is the land of Chitra Sakhi. So these Sakhis, they are direct associates of Srimati Radharani. They are expansions of Radharani, and they are serving Radharani. They are serving Krishna. And these are the girls born in land of Chitra Sakhi. Materially, it could be very poor. I've been going to their houses for the last 8-9 years now, and I haven't seen any change in the house. Same cot, same boxes, and same stores for grains. Same thing, exactly same. Not even new paint in the house. But Krishna or Radharani, when she had to take care of the wedding, she engaged us all in the service. That's all. And the wedding went on so nicely. And everybody was so appreciative. It was Chitra Sakhi or Radharani herself. They just engaged us. So Krishna can do anything, whatever he wants. It's not a big deal for Krishna. It's for his special devotees. And all these girls in the Chiksoli or Barsano or any other part of Braj, they're all direct associates of Radharani or her Sakhis. Direct associates. They might not be knowing it, that's a different story. But they all liberated souls. This is their last life. And if we get a chance to serve people like that, we should take up this opportunity. So, by mercy of Chitra Sakhi or Radharani, we got this opportunity, and thanks to everybody. Everybody pitched in so nicely, and wonderful time we had over there. And we were very thankful to Radharani for engaging us in this service. So I guess nobody has any questions, so we can stop here. So we'll stop here. Yeah, everybody have a wonderful day today. See you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna.